The stage is set, conditions are once again perfect, and we're now just 120 minutes away from the start of the 2023 Roland-Garros Women's Singles Final. It's lovely to have your company once again. What we have ahead of us is the world number one Iga Swiatek against the unseeded Karolina Muchova, and I'm delighted to be in the company of Grand Slam champion Marion Bartoli. And Marion, we're very lucky to have you because I know this is an enjoyable couple of weeks, but it's also a very busy couple of weeks for you.
It is a very busy couple of weeks, but so many memories from this year. I mean, from Gail on center court to Taylor Fritz's interview that I had to do on the court.
That was very well handled.
That was a moment for sure. To of course seeing Karolina playing her first Grand Slam final. It's all those stories. For me, Sasha Zverev coming back to the semi-final was such a huge effort after everything he went through, and then Novak yesterday just breaking record after record. I mean, we have been so blessed, absolutely perfect weather for almost 2 weeks. We couldn't ask for a better Roland-Garros, to be honest with you.
It's been absolutely unbelievable so far. Now, what Marion and I are going to do, we're going to go through the two players in the final, and I'd like to start with Iga Swiatek, and it sounds crazy calling her a veteran at the age of 22, yes. But this is her fourth Grand Slam final. She's won the first three, and importantly, she knows how to handle occasions like this.
Absolutely. She has been spectacular in all those very crucial moments of her career so far. I mean, every Grand Slam final she has played, she won them. So that just shows you the mental strength. And just one small detail, so you can see there, she's already having a notebook into her hands. And I really wanted to ask her that question in one of her own court interview, but I never had the chance to do it. But yeah, she's very into her mindset, into her concentration. We know she's taking care of her warm-up extremely carefully as well. She has all her routines, and of course she's going to be the absolutely heavy favorite today against Karolina Muchova, who doesn't have the experience at that stage of the competition, but she has been also playing absolutely flawless tennis. I mean, the record she was having before that semi-final that was slightly tighter against Beatriz Haddad-Maia. She was just barely spending an hour on the court. 6-love, 6-love, 6-love in the second set, just barely losing a game. I mean, she was really having the standards of Rafa at Roland-Garros. I know she's having for idol Rafa and Nadal, but she was really playing at that level as well. And to see her coming back, she was a little bit less dominating from the beginning of the year, beginning of the season compared to last year when she arrived here with just winning almost everything. So we had a little bit more of question mark, and she answered all to those questions really, really beautifully.
She's really good at answering questions, yet to drop a set through to the final. Remember, this is similar to 2020 when she didn't drop a set and she got through to the final. This was in the gym, so she arrived at Roland-Garros just before midday, so just before 12 o'clock, and then she'd head out to practice. And as you touched on there, Marion, she's on her. We saw the team arrive with her, but these are the moments now where she knows what she has to do.
Absolutely, she knows what she has to do, and she knows also the concentration on every single detail. A Grand Slam final, it's not a match like everyone else that you're going to play. It's a very special match which has so much on the line, and you know, it's all those routines that helps you to get your concentration to the 5 minutes before the match, to the minutes when you're going to walk through those stairs, 21 steps before you arrive on center court. You're counting every single one of them. And that's really at those moments when everything is just channeled towards winning. And that's what she's so good at. And you can tell from the past experience here at Roland-Garros, from the US Open final, it's just those moments when she just locks in and everything triggered to going and win the match, which is absolutely extraordinary because once again, she's still extremely young and she's assuming the pressure extremely well.
It's absolutely frightening. It's just 22 years of age. She turned 22 during the tournament to her opponent in Karolina Muchova. Yep. And I want to take you back to 2007, ahead of your first Grand Slam final at Wimbledon, because it's not, as many people who tell you, it's just another match. It's not just another match.
It's not just another match, even though for your first one, you have to try to treat it as just another match. The good thing for Karolina is there's a few things. First of all, she has played sublime tennis. I mean, she beat Maria Sakkari in the first round. She beat Aryna Sabalenka, one of the heavy favorites to go and win the title, not only to be in the final, but to win the title. She has been the one beating Iga Swiatek on clay. So to do that, saving match points as well, is just going to give her tremendous amount of confidence to go on the court and knowing she can do it. She has Kirsten Flipkens as a mentor, someone helping her also to deal with the pressure and to prepare the match the best possible way, because it's different preparation. You have to mentally be a lot more engaged into everything you're doing because the stress is just going to be so much higher. So you have to make sure to control everything you can control, which is your game, and see if you can play at your best, and it's what your opponent has to respond to that. But the worst for your first Grand Slam final is to play bad. That's for sure the worst. You do want to do that. If you play your best and your opponent is too good, you can go outside the court with your heads up saying, well, I've done my absolutely best. You just don't want to say, well, I wish I could replay that match, because that's not a good feeling.
And for Karolina Muchova, she arrived with her team. You can see Kirsten Flipkens there to the left just before 10:30 this morning. So she was
very early.
She was first in, and maybe she's just sticking to the routine that she's had throughout the tournament.
Maybe that, and maybe I think she probably knows that she needs more time as well to get her body relaxed, to get her body loose. You know, it's just one of those days when you're going to feel you're going to do everything a little bit slower than usual, because the stress is there and there is a build-up and the tension to that moment. So you want to give yourself slightly more time to really prepare for that moment. You don't want to feel rushed when you're stressed. The worst when you're stressed is to feel rushed in everything you have to do. So I think she's doing a good job to just take her time, to lose her body, to make sure she's, you know, at 100% before going on that court.
You're making me feel a little bit nervous, but you're right. It's all about preparation. It's all about the build-up. And we have the wind again today, which we've had for the 2 weeks. In terms of how these respective players made it to the final, for Iga Swiatek, she's yet to drop a set, but she did have to save a set point in that second set tiebreak against the Brazilian, who was starting to get under her skin a little.
Absolutely. I actually commentate that match, so I can tell you a lot about it. But Beatriz Admaya was having this heavy forehand to the back end of Iga that was disturbing her a little bit, and then she was opening the down the line and she was going there and moving to the net, and that was really the pattern that got a little bit Iga off track slightly, even though she was able to close that set. But you can tell that was probably the patterns that is starting to come on clay against Iga. Coco Gauff tried the exact same thing, but it was more with her forehand trying to loop it to the back end of Iga, trying to make her play a higher ball, which she doesn't like that much. And then you have a shorter ball that you can try to make something out of it. I think probably the pattern of Karolina today will be that. Can she make it for enough time from enough point? That's a huge question mark, because Iga Swiatek just doesn't give you anything. I mean, she's going to come at you on every single point, every single ball you're going to play short, especially to her forehand. I feel she has played really, really well with that forehand this year at Roland-Garros. We know it's a benchmark of her game. When that forehand is working, that's where the confidence is there. When the forehand is sometimes a little bit more shaky, that's where your confidence is slightly lower. And this year at Roland-Garros, the forehand has been absolutely on fire.
For Karolina Muchova, I mean, what a contest this was. And she had to come from 2-5 down in the third and to save match points.
And not only that, she had her chance to close it out the second set. So it was a double mental duty for her, because she was so close to win it. And then you can feel and sense the match is slipping out of her hands in the third set. And you can tell yourself, well, Arina got a scare, but she escaped from that. She's 5-2 up, match point. I mean, the fairy tale story is over. Not at all. She fought herself back. She always believed into her chances. The way she saved that match point was very interesting. I mean, she went for it. She didn't wait for Arina to miss the ball. She just went and win the point on her own terms. So I think for me, you know, to see her back at that level, we all know she has a lot of talent. She can play a beautiful ball. Sometimes the injury has been putting her more on the sidelines, but going to be 16 in the I think we need for women's tennis that kind of variety. She reminds me a little bit of Ashley Barty, the way she plays.
Absolutely.
And we miss Ash so much. So I think to have someone playing a bit of the same style, it's so good for women's tennis.
Now, finally, for both these players, there was practice, and for Iga Swiatek, it was out on court too. She booked the court for an hour. She hasn't used the whole of that hour. So my question to you is, with the Iga Swiatek game, where can you get at her? What are the weaknesses? What can you exploit in the Swiatek game, especially when she's at this stage of a competition?
Well, you have to play fast and you have to play bold. I think for me, when you look at the match she has been losing, Iga, it's someone who is really taking a lot of risks and are able on that day to put a lot of balls inside the court on those winners. That's how Arina Sabalenka beat her in Madrid. If you look at her on hard court on a different surface, when Jessica Pegula played her earlier in the year in Australia, she was playing very flat, like Jessica is playing, you know, very flat, taking her ball early, and she rushed her. And that's when sometimes when Iga feels slightly more uncomfortable when she has less time. If you give her all the time in the world, honestly, that level of the competition, I don't see an upset coming. If you really rush her, if you go inside the court, if you take your chance and you have an incredible day, for sure you can disturb her and maybe even win the match. 19
of the last 21 winners of the Roland-Garros women's singles title have won it through taking that opening set. It just shows how important it is to get off to that good start. For Karolina Muchova, she was on court 3 and she was on court 3 a little bit earlier. We're going to see Kirsten Flipkens a little bit, the relationship they have developed. But as you touched on with the comparison to Ash Barty, there's no massive weapon in Muchova, but she just has lots of different weapons, which she has said is a blessing and it's also a curse.
Absolutely. She has a lot of variety in her game. She can play that beautiful slice. We can see it here in the warm-up as well. She can play the drop shots. I love the way she sneaks into the net as well. When she sees her opponent on the stretch, she just come in and just play that beautiful volley, which is quite rare sometimes on women's tennis when girls like to stay behind and just win the point from the back of the court. So she had that ability. But sometimes when you have too much options, you just don't know which one to choose. And against Iga, you can't afford not to choose the right option. Because if you don't play the points right, she will play the points better than you. So I think for me, I mean, I was looking at Kirsten yesterday, and I know her. I played against her. You know, obviously, she's someone who really tried to understand the game of the opponent, a very good analyzer, and I think she will prepare the best tactic for Karolina. Then it's about making it happen. You know, it's about how you can make those shots at the crucial moments. And of course, that's what comes down to in a Grand Slam final. You have to be able to deliver your best tennis. That's how you win or you lose.
Marion, thank you for the perfect preparation. Are you looking forward to it?
I'm so looking forward to it.
Thank you so much for your company.
Thank you, Gigi.
Now, don't forget that I'll be back with you 30 minutes after the match point, and we'll have all the reaction. We'll also start looking ahead to the men's final tomorrow. But in the meantime, we're going to leave you with your finalists today, Iga Swiatek and Karolina Muchova.
Yeah, just to bring the best out of me and play a perfect match to be able to win the Grand Slam.
I'm going to keep the same focus, be kind of focused on what I want to do in court, and we're just going to play a nice match and entertain you guys.